It probably doesn't come as a surprise to most people that Australia's always lagged behind the rest of the world when it comes to building technology. For example, double glazing took us about 30 years or more for that to become mainstream in Australia. I think this has a little bit to do with our history. When we first arrived in Australia, our first attempt at building was pretty abrupt. It was quite literally get off the boat and build shelter, which kind of explains our obsession with building and renovating in Australia. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing better, that we should be striving to catch up with the rest of the world. So I went out to ask a bunch of foreigners what they think of homes in Australia and how does it compare to where they grew up. Let's find out, see what they have to say. So I'm with Yuka today, and tell me, Yuka, where are you from?
I'm from Kobe in Japan.
From Kobe. And how does the climate in Kobe compare to Melbourne?
Summer is hot and humid, very humid, and winter can be really cold, like 2 degrees, probably colder than here. And we sometimes have snow. Yeah.
And then tell me, how does the house you lived in Japan, or the house you grew up in Japan, how does that compare to the homes that you've lived in while you've been in Melbourne?
The house I grew up in Kobe is kind of mixture of the Western style and Japanese traditional style.
The house you grew up in, is that sort of built in the mid 70s?
I think so. Yeah, 70s. Yeah.
And tell me, what was your expectation when you emigrated to Australia? What was your expectation of climate and the homes?
Yeah, when I moved to Australia, it was in winter on May 2008. It was driest month in Australian history.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
that time Victoria has drought for like 12 months. So like my host mom said like, Ayuka, you have to take shower in 5 minutes. And
Which is a big shock for a Japanese
it's
person.
so cold, and I got cold. In a couple of weeks, and it was my first shocking winter.
Okay. And tell me, how do you find living in an Australian homes?
Australian house is obviously very cold. Yeah, I can tell the lack of the
Insulation?
insulation
Yep.
and the walls and roofs and
So my last question for you, Yuka, in terms of overall build quality, how do you think Australian homes compare to Japanese homes?
Australian houses lots of lack of insulation. Yeah, sometimes I feel like the house inside of the house is colder than outside. Yeah.
Yeah, not a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the weather is colder in Japan, I feel always cold in Australian house. Yeah.
Yuka-chan, arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you so much. ありがとうございました。
Thank you. So Emily, thank you for joining us. Tell us, where are you from?
Thank you, Andy. I am from Sweden. I come from the southern part of Sweden.
Yep.
And I've been in Australia for 13 years now.
13 years.
Yep.
And where you grew up in Sweden, tell us a little bit about the climate there.
Look, winters, you're looking at an average temperature of between -10 and +5. But it's not unusual for the temperature to drop down to as low as -20
Yep.
overnight. Summers,
Plenty of snow?
not so much. Always snow, but
Yeah.
not for weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
And with that outdoor temperature, like at its most extreme, -10, -15 in winter, can you describe the indoor temperature? What's it like to live in a home in Sweden?
very comfortable. You'll step inside from -10 outside and you'll take your clothes off, wear a t-shirt, and it's never below, I would say, 19 degrees.
Wow. That's
Steady
a
temperature.
huge difference. And the home that you grew up in, can you describe that?
Yeah, always comfortable. I would say temperatures between 19 and 25 degrees in summer at the most. Beautiful. It's properly built, thick insulation.
Yeah, I think you said your dad built this home?
Yeah, my dad built it in 1974. And
So
it's
it goes to
a solid house.
It must be. And also goes to show that it doesn't matter the age of the house. If it was built well in 1974 or in 2024, it's going to perform well for its occupants.
Yeah.
So what was your expectation when you moved to Australia?
Look, I knew the climate here wouldn't be warm all the time. Melbourne winters, they can actually get cold, as you know. What I did not know or expect was the houses and how poorly built they are. I've never been as cold as I am in Australia inside in winter. The houses here are not built for the climate. the houses in Sweden are definitely built for the climate. Otherwise, we simply wouldn't survive the harsh winter.
For this, what about the build quality of an Australian home compared to a Swedish home?
Yeah, the house,
And you can be brutally honest.
Yeah,
This is a factual exercise.
So the houses in Sweden, they are built to last 100 years plus. They're built with quality materials, following strict building codes that are focusing on energy sufficiency, with double to triple glazing in all houses as a standard.
This is 1974, by the way.
In
Double glazing.
1974,
Yeah,
no single glazed houses.
yeah, yeah,
Thick insulation, air tightness, no drafts,
yeah.
just solid builds. Yeah, they're built to last, and
Yeah.
they do last. You can easily go and look at a house on the SwedishRealEstate.com, and
That's a really good topic
Yeah.
you touched on before, which I think we should expand on a little bit, actually. I've noticed this in parts of Europe. You get an energy rating when you consider buying a house.
Yep.
In Sweden, I think they go one step further. Can you explain that to us?
yeah, so if you jump on the website and you're looking at this particular house you want to buy, there will be a 1 to 10 Energy Star rating how good the house is as a 10 star, or if it's poorly built, or it will be a low star rating.
Yeah.
It will break down the annual cost of heating the house as an average.
And you also have some numbers on terms of the area of the house. So you can,
Absolutely. You buy a house and you know the exact square meters
yeah.
and the dollar cost per square meter in the specific suburb you're buying.
And then you can easily
Yeah.
calculate also for that same square meter what it's going to cost you to heat and cool it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Emily. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm with John here in Selby. Thanks for joining us, John. And tell us, where are you from?
I'm from Belgium.
Yeah, okay.
Came to Australia in 2009, so it's going to be 16 years now.
Okay. Long enough to sort of know what it's like to live in Australia.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so where you're from in Belgium, describe the climate for us.
I would say wet mainly.
Yes.
Temperature-wise, winters probably, 0 to -5. Extreme, maybe -10, not that often.
Yeah. So then describe for us the house you grew up in Belgium.
I've lived mainly in one house. So my parents' house, it was a prefab,
How long ago was this?
That house was probably, so I was born 74. I reckon we moved in 75.
So 1975, a prefab home in Belgium.
Yeah.
What were the benefits, or were there any benefits to the prefab home in terms of comfort and energy efficiency?
So I think for me, what I remember, it didn't matter how cold it was or how hot it was outside. Inside the house, it was always the same. So that meant in winter, you would play in the snow, in the wet snow or in the cold, come inside, be nice and comfortable.
And so when you finally moved to Australia, what was your expectation of what life would be like when you came to Australia?
I think the image that I had of Australia was mainly outdoor living. It's always nice weather, it's warm. What I didn't expect was the winters. So in the house that we're in now, we got a wood heater, and that basically goes on in March,
Yeah.
and it goes off in September, October.
Yeah. So in that sense, how does I'll wait for this cockatoo to quieten down. So how does the home compare here to what you grew up in Belgium?
As I said, it's like the home for us was the comfortable place. No matter what the weather was, you go home, it's nice and warm, it's cozy. We never worried about the house being cold or too hot. If I compare the house that I've got now, it is really hard to keep the temperature constant. So yes, we can heat it up, but the heat just disappears.
And I noticed we were here the other night with a thermal camera looking at John's house during the night, and you could see the lines on the weatherboards where they overlap. You could see this warm line on every overlap where John's heating was just leaking out of the building.
Yeah, I was sort of not surprised to see that.
Going back to the topic of double glazed windows, which you've installed here,
Yeah.
your home in Belgium, was that double glazed?
So I reckon my parents installed double glazed in 78, maybe.
1978.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Australia in 1978, we weren't talking about double glazing.
But then he basically installed triple glazing. So
Yeah,
that was late 80s.
Triple glazing, late 80s in Belgium. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, John.
That's all right.
Next, we're going to speak to Lulu from France and see what she thinks. How does it compare to a home in France? Thank you for joining us. And tell me, where are you from, Lulu?
I'm from Lyon in France,
Yeah.
which is Middle East.
Central France.
Yes,
And how does the climate compare in Lyon to, say, Victoria, where we are now?
very similar.
Very similar. So, how does the home compare? The home that you grew up in France, how does that compare to the homes you've lived in Australia?
It was more comfortable to live in, like in winter and summer, actually. Better insulation.
Yeah.
So it's easier to keep warm, like in winter.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a way.
Okay. Yeah. It's more of a comparison on the homes. A lot of people say the homes that they live in now in Australia, they feel like there's a constant draft of cold air from the outside.
There is definitely one in the house where I live now.
So then, on that note, how do you think the homes compare overall in build quality in France compared to Australia?
I think they're better built in France.
Fair to say more solid?
More solid, yes.
Yeah.
Like, more solid.
Yeah, typically more likely going to be masonry homes, double brick or stone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So we've had a comparison from some homes in France, Belgium, Sweden, Japan. Pretty consistently, people are saying the same things. The build quality is noticeably different. So yeah, another area where we need to be looking at and saying, okay, well, how can we improve it? Because it's not a case of do we need to? It's a case of where and when.
Let's do it again. Oh, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
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 blah.
blah.
So I've got plenty of outtakes.
Yeah. Warmer, like
Yeah, so in that sense, how does I'll wait for this cockatoo to quieten down. So how does the home compare here to what